Good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Please, could you start by giving us an update on the squad? I wondered if you might have anyone back for tomorrow.
In terms of squad, everyone sort of from the weekend got through okay. Archie got a bit of a knock, obviously, but he's recovered well. And I guess the main one's Dom. He's due to train today, so he's still not 100%, but he's definitely improved from the weekend. So just see how he goes through training today. And that's it. The other injured guys are inching closer, but not available.
Thank you. I know you said after the Fulham game that the team were dipping into energy levels that many wouldn't. Will you give us a sense of how the week's going so far?
Yeah, look, obviously, we're in this sort of cycle of sort of knowing, it's kind of I think it's a Thursday, Sunday cycle for us pretty consistently. So routines are there, Monday's kind of recovery day for the lads. And then yesterday, trained with the guys who didn't sort of play the majority of the game and again, extended recovery for the others and then sort of full session today. But yeah, they've all recovered well. No issues from it. And, obviously, ready to go for a big game tomorrow.
And a word on that game. Can I ask you a bit about Bournemouth and what you've made of what you've seen of them of late and what kind of a challenge you think they provide? Yeah,
tough challenge. Not just of late. I think from last year, we're obviously, new manager coming in and they're really aggressive with their football and especially at their place. Even this year, I mean, they've beaten City and Arsenal at their place. So good challenge. We had a tough game up there last year. We did well, but and then we had a tough game against them here. So, one of those sides where there's a real consistency in performance and approach. So you know that you're in for a battle. Looking forward to it.
Morning.
Morning.
13 games in, you're the club who's scored the most goals in the league so far of 28, testament to your attacking football. In terms of improving your performance, you've obviously got a lot of injuries at the moment. What do you think that the players that are starting at the moment need to work on?
Yeah, look, I think, I've said before, I think we're sort of progressing in all aspects of our game. I think, obviously, we've scored a lot of goals, but even defensively, I think we're much more kind of consistent defensively this year than we were last year. The fact that we have got quite a few significant absences at the moment, is something we just have to work through. We had a very similar scenario last year, fair to say we kind of sort of ground our way through it, and we're kind of doing that at the moment. But the improvements, in all aspects of the game. But at the same time, like I said, we've definitely showing progress in the areas we.
Then working on it as a club.
I think it's just like behaviour, and behaviour is kind of learned. You do that every day. The way you train, the way you sort of approach everything you do, and a big part of our game is physical output and consistency in that, and we have been consistent in that, and the other resilient stuff. I think you just, like I said, it's a learned behaviour. I think, and you test that out every day. You kind of push the limits of what you do with training, with the way you approach everything you do, really, and hopefully that sort of comes to the fore when you need it in games, and some of it's just learned in games itself.
And Bournemouth have delivered some great performances, particularly at home this season, and their work rate off the ball is strong. Tottenham have beaten Bournemouth, though, 10 out of 14 heads-to-heads. Is there a different sort of pressure or mentality approach when you go into a game and you are the favourites, you're expected to win?
No, I don't think so. And I don't. I'm not really sure. I think, especially this year, not just for us, but for most teams, I don't think there's, apart from Liverpool, there's no team I think thinks about going to any game thinking it's going to, they're somehow favourites, because, there's been sort of, inconsistency in results amongst all clubs, and that's because the evenness of the competition. So, I think what you've done historically is kind of irrelevant. What we know is this year in the Premier League, all games are pretty tightly contested, and even if a team has kind of had a previous poor performance, they're just as likely to bounce back and put in a strong performance on the weekend. So, I mean, this week it's a bit different, I guess, because all Premier League clubs are playing 3 games within a week. So that'll test, I think, a few of the clubs that don't do that regularly, whereas we've been in that sort of cycle for a while. So, but yeah, we're expecting it, like I said before, we're expecting a tough game down there. It's they're a good side who rarely dip below a certain level of performance, so it'll be a good test for us. Thank you.
Hi, Ange. Just want to ask you about Jed Spence. He's had a real kind of turnaround under you in his Tottenham career, but still hasn't actually started a Spurs game for any England manager. Kind of where's he at fitness-wise? Because obviously you've got so many games coming up and he's able to play because there's a few aren't European ones. Is he close to being able to start for you? Is he going to be an option? Yeah,
look, I mean, I don't know about a major turnaround. I mean, I think a major turnaround is Jed playing regularly at this level. So, I mean, just because, he's hung around doesn't mean that's a major turnaround. I still think, a lot of that's, Jed just continuing to train hard and wait for his opportunity. Look, fitness-wise, he's always in good condition. We obviously train pretty hard. So, could he start a game? I think he could. Could he start multiple games? Probably not, because he hasn't played for quite a while. But he's been in and around the squad, and I guess particularly between now and Christmas, opportunities may come up for him. He almost got on the weekend, but sort of the red card changed things a little bit. But I think the key for Jed is that he's still training well. His focus is there, and just to be ready to take the opportunity when it comes.
Strikers, I want to ask you about that. Obviously, you're in the situation again at the weekend with no Dom and Richarlison as well with his issues. I mean, especially on Richarlison, with the frustrations that he's had over his Tottenham career, is that an area that you kind of have to look at now? Because I don't want to sound too harsh, but maybe you can't trust, because of previous experiences, that he's going to come back and be there for a prolonged period. Yeah,
look, I think there's no doubt. I mean, because again, when you add Wilson to that, and you add even Mikey now, like I said, we had Dom out on the weekend. Now you kind of hope that sort of alleviates. Although with Wilson, it's obviously long term. Hopefully Mikey, by the turn of the year, will be back as well. But again, he's 17. So look, with Richie, it has been sort of frustrating because I just see the potential in him. And to be fair to him, when he's been fit, he's always made an impact for me anyway. I think back to the start of last year, and then when he came back into the team during the year, he went on a scoring run. Even the little games he's played this year, he's made an impact. So, that's what you kind of hold on to. But there's no doubt we need some bolstering in that front third, over the sort of course of, the next sort of couple of transfer windows, because it's Dom coming in has been great, but again, we can't overload him either, because ultimately, even if he stays fit, knock on wood, nothing happens, performance will invariably drop if his energy levels drop. So it's something we're aware of and kind of need to plan for.
Just ask you about Mikey. Obviously, he's been out for a considerable time now, and still some more to come. I'm presuming it's something that's really kind of attacked his system than this virus.
Look, I come out here and I want to be as transparent as I can, but this is a 17-year-old boy. I don't like talking about what they have and what they don't have. It's nothing serious, but, he's 17. We're going to take our time. And I don't like this kind of constant, not from you, by the way, but, I've just heard other bits and pieces of, people speculating come on. I mean, like, if it's your 17-year-old son, you don't want everyone to know what he has or hasn't got. It's nothing serious. It's nothing long term. It's just that he's a young lad and he's only 17 and he's a big part of this football club, and we'll protect him and we'll be guided by how he feels, how he recovers from, an illness. Like I said, young people, will recover at different rates. But like I said, he'll be back. He's still here. He's part of what we're doing, and he'll be back in the next, few weeks. But again, he's missed a lot of football, so whether we bring him back to the first team or he needs to play, we've got to bear in mind he's 17.
Hi, Ange. Just staying on injuries, just wanted to ask for an update on Christian Romero. Is he back training with the team yet?
He's due to sort of have his sort of last session or last couple of sessions with sort of the rehab guys today and tomorrow, so we're kind of hoping that back in team training potentially by Friday, at the very latest early next week if everything goes well.
Just wanted to ask you about the FA Cup draw against Tamworth, what your thoughts of that were, and how much do you actually know about them?
Yeah, no, look, it's an exciting bit of the cup. I was watching it with my boys, and they asked me a million questions about Tamworth, and I had to do some quick Googling. To be fair, I'd watched the previous round, and I like watching the FA Cup games, so I saw how they got through, so I knew a little bit about them anyway. It's kind of the beautiful part of the FA Cup. I'm sure they're buzzing to sort of have a Premier League team there, and it's great for us because it's a tie that'll obviously have a little bit of interest around it, obviously, and one to look forward to.
And then just staying with the FA Cup, wanted to ask you about Josh Keeley's goal. I'm sure you've seen it. So just your thoughts on that, and also what he's like to work with. I'm sure you've worked with him a little bit, and what you thought of him. Yeah,
Josh. He worked with us last year, obviously, and with Birchie, and it's important with the young guys and with the goalkeepers, to get them eventually some game time. And I think the loan's worked out really well. He's gone there. He's worked his way into the team, and he's doing really well. He's goalkeeping well. I don't know how excited I get about goalkeepers scoring headers, mate. It's great, and great for him, I'm sure, but it's not kind of the attributes I'm looking for in a goalkeeper. But the pleasing thing is he's doing well. He kind of, you go into a loan club, especially as a goalkeeper, young goalkeeper, and I think you have to earn the trust of the manager to end up being the number one. And the fact that he has, and he's doing well, it's good. It's what we want to see from our loan guys.
Hi, Ange. Following on from Alistair's question, between them, Jed, Archie Gray and Lucas have played 160 minutes in the Premier League. I know different positions, different people, different cases, but is there anything we can read into that? I mean, are those three guys ready to be starting games at that level?
Yeah. You're missing a big bit there, mate. How much has Archie played this year?
Well, he's not in the Premier League.
Yeah,
that's my point.
But we've had midweek games played. He's started Carabao Cup. He's started every Europa game. So he's played, like he's part of this team. So I think he's separate from Lucas, and I think we've used Archie as an 8. I mean, I don't know how many of the top sides are using 18-year-olds regularly, but I think for where Archie's at, I think we've certainly utilised him in many different areas, and I think he's done fantastically well for us. I think Lucas and Jed are a different position. I think, with Lucas again, we need to sort of make sure that we allow him sort of to develop without sort of putting him in before we think he's ready, particularly for Premier League football. I think that's where the Europa Cup's been good for us, because it's a different level of football in terms of the intensity and the tempo, and Lucas is working his way through that. He's had a sort of couple of cameos in the Premier League as well. But like I said with Jed, it's kind of a different scenario. But from us, like I said, we can't lose the sight of the fact that they're still 18, and like I said, if people can show me evidence of 18-year-olds playing regularly, apart from some exceptions, then there's a reason for that, and that is you want to sort of allow them to grow into it. But Archie, I've used Archie every time we've needed him, and he'll definitely play significant game time for us this year for sure.
And you have got another 18-year-old joining you in January in Yang.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the sheer number of kind of young players in the squad a kind of reason for patience, I guess, or
Yeah, I mean, it depends which way you look at it, Dan. But it's like I've said before. I think it's the way you build. I mean, I think if you're trying to build, what you want is young players, because ultimately, every team kind of goes through its cycles, and we don't have many at sort of the top end of kind of age-wise. We've got a few in that sort of sweet spot of peak years, as they call them. But we've got a lot who are kind of going to grow into that over the next number of years. And what you want is, hopefully those 18-year-olds, because not all of them, but the majority of them are going to start growing with the team and sort of break through. So there is a kind of longer term view that has to be taken with what we're trying to build from a team and squad perspective. So we have gone heavy sort of on the younger ages, but that's a deliberate approach because I think we're at the start of a cycle. I think if you're closer to kind of where you want to be and 2 or 3 years into it, you're less likely to, because then you're denying them opportunities. What we're hoping is we're bringing them in, but they'll still get opportunities at this point of where we're at. So, but again, the flip side of that is with Yang, 18-year-old coming from a totally different part of the world, a different league, is a massive step than, say, Archie doing from Championship to Premier League. So, again, we've just got to be mindful of kind of what impact we kind of expect for somebody like that.
Is he here yet, Yang?
No, he hasn't arrived yet, so he'll have some time off. Obviously, their league finishes, and I haven't spoken to the guys lately, but I know he's keen to get over here. We'll get him over here. I remember with Celtic, we signed a couple of lads from Japan and Korea, and sort of middle to late December they kind of joined us, and it was a good lead into sort of January for those guys.
Just finish with George, please.
No, don't throw. I don't see any athletic prowess between both of you there, mate. So.
Cheers, Ange.
That's all right. I'm allowed a couple of sledges, mate.
You had Sergio Reguilon on the bench on Sunday, and he's obviously out of contract and hasn't played a lot, but are you looking at him and thinking he's ready if he's required over this next month? Because you've got a lot of domestic games, haven't you?
Yeah, look, he's ready. He's kind of training every day, so he's part of the squad. So, we're sort of, we're down in numbers, but, there's also a reason why, Reggie's in the last year of his contract with us. So, we'll see how that all transpires, but nothing wrong with his attitude. He's obviously, like I said, training every day. And like I said, we've had literally schoolboys on the bench, so we're really down on numbers, even for the squad. So he'll probably be involved again tomorrow.
And you mentioned you're down on numbers, but at the same time you sort of you rested Decky, didn't you, on Sunday, took out Dom, and we've seen it since you've been in England that you've consistently sort of protected players. I mean, you've taken Sonny off against Aston Villa when it was 1-1. How kind of hard is it to do that as a manager when you know sort of the external pressure will be there if that result doesn't go against you?
Yeah, it's not hard. I mean, you've always got to make decisions that you think are right. I mean, I'm never going to make decisions just to kind of alleviate or appease, people's opinions. And I mean, Decky's, he's been our best player this year, and I want to protect him because there's no chance he can play all these games that we've got. And like I said, even if they can play, performance will invariably drop because it's not sustainable, mate. So, we have to pick and choose. Obviously, I thought the weekend game, particularly with Pape and Matters and Biss in there,